Nice of you to drop in.
Hello people, I am the Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite underrated comics, because there are a lot out there. These books aren't necessarily underrated, whereas not as well known as they should be, because by the people who do know them, they are very highly rated, but not a whole lot of people read them. So yeah, before I get into that, big thanks for 3,000 subscribers. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. It's so awesome, 3,000 subscribers. Ever since I hit 1,000 subscribers, I've been going a lot faster, and that's awesome. Big thanks to you guys, because I said in my 2015 update video, which was also my sort of 2,000 subscribers thank you video, I said that I was going to be getting a camera, which is the camera I'm currently using, and yeah, I'm still primarily going to be doing gameplay for my videos, but probably once a week it'll be this. What you're seeing right now, it'll be this. Like I said before, I want to start reviewing comics in my collection, so I'll probably start doing that, and that's primarily what it'll be. Everything else, like when I review Deathstroke, that'll still be Deathstroke free roam gameplay in the background, stuff like that. But yeah, let's get into it. So first off is Cal. Cal is Kyle Higgins' baby. If you don't know who Kyle Higgins is, he wrote, where's it? This. He wrote this, Nightwing in the New 52. He wrote Deathstroke's first story arc in the New 52. And he also wrote Batman Gates of Gotham, I believe it was called, which was a story arc where Dick Grayson was Batman pre-New 52. He's done a bunch of stuff, and this is my favorite that he's ever done. It's really good. Cal stands for Chicago Organized Workers League. Yes, I read it off the back. But what it's about is, imagine the Justice League is less powerful, and they're sort of a police department. That's what this is, except they're people. It's very realistic. You know, as realistic as a comic can be. Well, not extremely realistic, but it is much more realistic compared to other comics, and it's very dark and gritty, and it is a more of an adult book, but it's so good. The first couple issues I was a little confused, but then it's just like got on a roll and just kept going and never stopped, and that's when I was like, okay, this is getting really good. And it's by Image, so if you've ever picked up an Image trade, you know it feels great in your hands. And this is no exception. This feels better than any other Image book, in my opinion. Not by a ton, since they all feel very similar. But this it feels so good. And it just feels so good to read. And the art's amazing in it. You see right there, the art's really good. It fits it perfect. It's very, like, crime noir-esque. And it's just a great book that I highly recommend you pick up. Now, next is another Image title, and that is Five Ghosts. Volume 1 and 2, because 3 isn't out, and I'm very mad about that. Like I said, well, I don't know if I mentioned that, but I've been reading trades primarily, because reading issue to issue is a pain in the butt. I hate it. The only comics I'm doing that for is Deathstroke and Batman Endgame. Those are the only comics I'm reading issue to issue. Everything else, I'm reading trade, which is really hard, because I was following Action Comics, and it's so good, but I'm like, okay, I need to read it in trade, because I've been spoiled by reading everything else in trade, and so reading issue to issue is just, it's a pain, reading one issue a month, so I've just been waiting for trades, and that's a pain too, because you have to wait months until the trade comes out. But anyways, back on track to Five Ghosts. Five Ghosts is about Fabian Gray. Fabian Gray is pretty much Indiana Jones. Imagine Indiana Jones. That's pretty much what he is with Five Ghosts. He has this thing called these things called Dreamstones in him, and for each Dreamstone he's got a ghost, and those ghosts are, he's got an archer, a wizard, detective, a samurai, and a vampire. And for each one of them, he just associates something with, like, with pop culture. Like, he has Robin Hood for the archer. He's got Merlin for the wizard. He's got Sherlock Holmes for the detective. So, you know, and so on. He's got someone for each one, and it's really cool. And it's during Nazi era. They're working towards something, and there's these guys that keep showing up. I don't want to spoil anything. It's been really good. The first volume was really good, and the second volume was even better. Second volume, he's a pirate. It's so good, and the art is amazing. Again, see right there, the art is really good, and I highly recommend you pick it up. I believe, I heard that Sci-Fi is trying to make a show out of it, which we'll see how that goes, because it is Sci-Fi, and Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But it's been really good. I highly recommend picking it up. Next is this is the only one from the big two, aka Marvel and DC, and that is Jonah Hex No Way Back. I would recommend anything that Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray write involving Jonah Hex. Those guys are they sort of did what Jeff Johns did for Green Lantern, which was Jeff Johns wrote great stories for Green Lantern for like 10 years. They did the same thing for Jonah Hex, and No Way Back is my favorite. Jonah Hex, if you don't read him, which I'm assuming you don't, because not very many people do, not a whole lot of people do, but he's a great character, and his stories are generally just these one issue stories. They're just contained. Well, that issue has nothing to do with the next issue. It's like not continuous storytelling. This is one of the few continuous Jonah Hex stories by Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray, and it's the best. It's really good. They do great with their one issue stories, which I don't know how they do it. They fit all this stuff into one issue, and it's great. But this is even better when they have a whole like 6 issues. Also, this is my favorite hardcover because generally I don't like hardcovers because they don't feel like comic books to me. They feel more like books. They don't to where trade paperbacks do feel like do feel like comics. This hardcover feels really cool, and it's awesome because it's an Old West book. Besides the Jeff Johns interview and the barcode and all this, it feels like a cool, like gritty little like Jonah Hex journal or something. And it's really cool. And again, the art's pretty good. Some people may not be used to it, but it fits Jonah Hex. If you've read Jonah Hex, his art is always different than like everything else in DC. And this is more. I don't really want to spoil anything, but it's about Jonah Hex finding out more about his family and some stuff like he really didn't know. It's really cool. Definitely, I highly recommend picking it up. But for other Jonah Hex stories, I'd suggest New 52, which was All Star Western, which was another. It was 34 issues. It got canceled, sadly. But it was 34 issues of Jonah Hex, and it's one of the few books that has a beginning, middle, and end, which I know some people don't like that comics go on forever and ever, and this was pretty cool. It got canceled, which was sad, but it's 34 issues of a continuous story, and it's really good. The first story arc takes place in Old Gotham, old back in Jonah Hex's time, Old West Gotham, and so that's really cool. And yeah, also Six Gun War is another great one. That's another continuous Jonah Hex storyline. But yeah, I could be naming Jonah Hex storylines all day. The final book I'm going to be talking about, well, books are Snake Eyes Declassified. We'll talk about that first. Is amazing. Snake Eyes Declassified is Snake Eyes' origin by Devil Dew Publishing. It is amazing. It is the go-to origin for Snake Eyes. It's so good. And it makes Batman's origin look like a cakewalk. All the stuff Snake Eyes had to go through is just, yeah, I don't have the trade because trade was expensive, so I just got the issues separately. It was much cheaper. But yeah, the stuff he has to go through, everything, it's just like it makes what Batman went through look like nothing. I remember when I was reading this, I was like, Snake Eyes would give anything to be to have what Batman has, because Snake Eyes' origin was, it's pretty rough, but it's really good, and it's a fantastic book. It's one of my favorite books of all time, not just underrated. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's so good. And another great Snake Eyes book is Target Snake Eyes. It's my second favorite Snake Eyes book. It's to where he's on the run for pretty much everyone. At first he was with the Arashikage, but later on he gets turned on by the Arashikage, and it ends with a pretty big cliffhanger. I don't want to spoil anything, but he's on the run from G.I. Joe, and it's great. There's tons of great Snake Eyes books, like G.I. Joe Cobra Civil War. Well, Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Cobra Civil War. There's a ton of different Snake Eyes books, but yeah, this was just to bring some of my favorite comics that aren't very popular and not talked about too much just to the spotlight. But yeah, again, thank you guys for 3,000 subscribers. I'm going to still primarily be gameplay, but like once a week it'll be this. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like.